All right. Welcome to Dropping In at Pipeline Audio. This is number 118, and I'm calling this one Evidence-Based Audio Engineering. And, we're starting a channel based on this, but I figure I'm just going to change the whole show over to that name. So it's either Evidence-Based Audio Engineering, maybe Evidence-Based Audio Engineering and Education. I know we've talked about this before, but this this name, the Pipeline Audio name, has just gotten tied too close to my personal advocacy, and it's kind of hurting the show. This time I was banned from Facebook for speaking out against Robin Hood and the oppression and genocide of Asians. Personally, I'm probably too much of a target for religious apologetics and jihadists, even the allegedly secular apologists out there. I don't do well with the forces of anti-science, and I have a hard time holding my tongue. And, it's probably hitting the show a little hard. So, it's probably about time anyway. I mean, I really wanted to get it over to more about, our reason-based audio or evidence-based audio. The reality-based community. So yeah, you probably won't see this popping up on Facebook this time. I'm not sure if it'll pop up under our AIX DSP. I have a feeling it actually won't. They probably completely banned me from doing videos or anything. Looks like May 27th there was something on here. I'm just checking real quick. Yeah, doesn't look like this went to Facebook. So yeah, if you're on Facebook, you're probably not seeing this. But it should be on my YouTube. Let's just check that real quick. It's a little terrifying if it's not. Nope, it's definitely on YouTube. So hello out there, YouTube users. Like always, you can jump in on the chat if you want. I'll put you on the air here as long as you don't do anything completely stupid. The link's in the description, or it should be. Let me just check, make sure it's there. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, it's on the YouTube link. It should be on the Twitch as well. We'll see. Yeah, so this whole pipeline audio thing is probably getting in the way of the show. I also get nailed a lot. Kind of a controversy because I have an advocacy for overturning wrongful convictions. I just hate the travesties of justice. And one of the things that I really get hit for hard is that I want to find meaningful punishments for dirty cops, scumbag prosecutors, crooked judges, and corrupt politicians who make this happen. I don't think we'd have so many wrongful convictions unless if those who were responsible face meaningful consequences for their actions. And again, that has nothing to do with audio, so this is just another reason to divorce this stuff. And the pipeline audio itself, it was never meant to be about me. You might notice that whenever I have a choice and I write pipeline audio someplace, it starts with a lowercase p. If I get run over by a truck, hopefully there's still a pipeline audio tomorrow. The actual pipeline audio was a few very special people and a community as well. And many of the best are no longer with us on this earth. But we all shared a goal of taking the sounds we heard in our heads and making them come out of speakers. And of course, so much of that comes from what most of these alleged recording schools, hype factories, and on social media, and the special sideburn spiky hairdos you see on YouTube, what they won't tell you. And so hopefully changing this to evidence-based audio engineering and education, and that will do well for what we're working on. Hopefully you can do this without breaking the bank. We've always been about extreme ghetto technology, right? So, first of all, I'm having continued problems with Restream. This time they switched off the stereo and high quality audio settings without me knowing it. Hopefully there'll soon be some alternatives. I've seen some newer companies that are coming up. Remember we tried one a couple months ago. Turned out that wasn't quite ready for prime time, but it was promising. At this price though, I may as well just go to vMix and just stream to YouTube directly. It's about the same cost. It's like $40 a month. Ouch, man. But yeah, hopefully some of those alternatives are on their way out. Let's see. What else do we have today? So there's a lot of, I'm not even going to say it's hype. I'm sure it came from hype, but a lot of people are buying these Antelope Audio Synergies, and even Jim Roseberry is saying some good stuff about it. My problem with Antelope, we've had on the show before, it's not, I don't know, their audio interfaces are probably fine. It was their clock magic claims that I didn't like. Let's see if they still have these things. Audio clock. These things, it's like, yeah, here we go. 1,500. Whoa. No, what is this? This can't be possible. I thought that was bad, a $1,500 clock, but it looks like this one is $6,500 word clock. Rubidium atomic clock, perfectly suited to recording, mixing, mastering environments, supporting sample rates up to 768 kilohertz. So this is something that, we used to buy for about $60. This is $6,500. Let's read about this thing. Perhaps no other product in the modern studio world has defined the high end better than Antelope's original 10M atomic clock. The Antelope Audio 10MX continues its legacy in fashion by offering even more onboard 10 megahertz outputs, and also can now output standard word clock rates as well as remarkable 768 kilohertz. New smaller atomic oscillator. But I don't know. Do we have to go through word clock magic again? This is not magic. You're not going to improve stuff by putting a word clock on your gear. Dan Lavery had said that there were some cases where gear was made so badly at the beginning that an external clock might make it better. But nowadays, that's just not true, right? You don't see any. So there's according to the features, improved sonic stability over 10M, over 10 megahertz, probably. So it's 10 megahertz outputs. I just bought a used one of these that's almost, might be 20 years old, 20 something years old, for $150 for, I got 6 outputs and I got a generator with it. $6,500. So there's some testimonials here, but you're not going to see them actually printing anything that's going to show what this actually does. This is a lot like mic preamps, except for the fact that at least mic preamps make your mic louder, right? This is just magical claims. There's nothing. Let's look at the specs here. No, there's nothing in there. There's a testimonial in here, but it's just let's see if there's anything. I bet you it's going to be using those like magical weasel words. I listened hard and intently to the first verse until the end of the first chorus on my 10M. Took several seconds to switch to the new one and hit play. I was quickly struck. Yeah, let's hear what kind of descriptive words. Like, are we looking for warm, bright, transparent? I was quickly struck by how much more tone and note I was hearing out of everything. What units do we measure tone and note in? It wasn't more low-end level that I was hearing. It was simply more of the music. What does that even mean? The side stick had more wood in it. So what did I say? These terms were going to be nonsense, right? The vocal entered on the first verse with such a perfect framing and confidence. All the high-end detail was still beautifully intact, yet a harshness that I didn't realize there had now gone away. I felt like I was hearing undertone harmonics I've never heard out of my Pro Tools system. It's just silly. It's just sad. Oh, look, and there's some Mick Gazowski right here. The difference was pretty incredible. I heard it with my own ears. The sonic picture got clearer. There was less distortion in the top end. Now, that's something we could actually measure. So that should be something that is very easily measurable and provable. Yet, I don't see those measurements anywhere, do I? It has less harsh that I always contributed to lower sample rates, but I guess not. It was always due to the clocking. That's Mick Gazowski, folks. So even the best can be fooled by stuff. And if you're speaking outside of your area of expertise, you know, all bets are off. Anyways, so it looks like, you know, people are liking this Antelope Synergy. Jim says that Jim Roseberry says the round trip latency is good. Drivers he seems to like. This one's on Thunderbolt, and I'm still not sure what is what on Thunderbolt. How many years have we been going that we're supposed to be on to Thunderbolt right now and everything's cool, and yet there's still more questions than answers out there. You know, I've asked Jim about it, and he's explained that I should be able to, especially with the system that I have now, buy some Thunderbolt header or something that goes with this motherboard, and I could try out some Thunderbolt stuff. But you know, I have emailed, in my case, Asus, and all I get is crickets when I ask what's the proper one to use with this stuff. So we're not getting the right answers out there. I could ask Jim, but I don't want him to be responsible for any of the disasters I might encounter. This is squarely in the laps of the people who are making this stuff. They should be able to tell me. But, you know, USB's working fine. Right now, my RME Digiface USB is working better than I could dream of, and it was only $500 for 32 channels in and 34 channels out. It's hard to beat that, man. So I'm going to stick with my my USB for now, but we'll see. Thunderbolt, maybe the future. I remember it was almost 10 years ago or whatever, where they were promising PCI on a wire, and it's been failure after failure. I know there's been some units that have worked, but for the most part, it seems very sketchy thing, even compared to USB. So the let me Google that for you creeps are at it again. This time over at the Rug, at the Reaper Users group on Facebook. This time it was over reverbs, and it was the usual Dunning-Kruger. Listen, peckerheads, when people ask stuff in that forum, sure, there are some people that are just lazy or whatever, but on something like a reverb, are you kidding me? The crap that you get out of let's just type this in. Let's try VST reverb. Okay, I'm going to go to Google for that. So what do we get? We get an ad. We get another ad. We get another ad. We get Bedroom Producers blog, which is cool. It's got some free reverb plugins. We got some 13 of the best free reverb plugins from Music Tech, who we're going to talk about later on. I wouldn't trust that as a source or give them any business whatsoever. You got one from Lander or L&R, whichever that's supposed to be. But, you know, these guys are all saying either the stuff is just ads or whatever. But, you know, I trust Bedroom Producers blog. That's actually a good place to go. But you wouldn't know. You know, I look at all these reverbs. They're okay. But it's really hard to know if this thing's actually going to work out for you. And, you know, yeah, you could spend your whole life downloading everything you that's out there that Google shows you. But using the principle of charity, and I wish people would do this more often, just assume that when somebody's saying something to you, don't take it in the worst possible way you could. Don't assume the most horrible things you can about the person based on the question they asked or something they said. Assume the best. So maybe Hey, this is just a thought. This guy's already Googled the hell out of everything, is totally confused, and is going to a place that used to, once upon a time, be full of experts because he wants some expert opinion. That's your, let me Google that for you. Sorry, my glasses are a little fogged up. I gotta fix them. But that just assume that might be why the guy's there. He's not there because he's lazy, because, he doesn't want to let me Google that for you. And, the kind of answers the guys end up with is usually just the normal Dunning-Kruger nonsense from people who had never mixed a damn album in their life and are just full of crap and just want to push people around. That's me not applying the principle of charity, but I'm doing it based on an attack they actually made on the person. So, yeah, you guys are peckerheads. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. This was cool. Let's see. What's the guy's name? Gallipoli or something. Some guy in Ukraine, awesome Reaper user. He looks like he's fully released the Flat Madness 4K theme. I think he has it says full HD. Is that 1080p? We talked about this theme before, and this is this is a Reaper theme. For me, this is a pretty cool one. I still have a huge problem with the item colors and stuff, but I really like these simplistic flat themes. It looks kind of like somebody who made an iPhone GUI made this Reaper theme. It looks nice to me, nice and simple. I'll be trying it out this week, and I'll let you guys know how it is, but there's a donation thing. Your donations are very important. I don't know if you actually have to pay for it, but, it looks pretty cool. I wonder. So you can download. My theme is freeware. No extra features for donation. Okay, so looks like you just go grab it. But if you like it, please donate to this guy, man. Making themes is hard. Even back in the day before we had Walter, I spent a lot of time on themes. I never really got anything good. So if this guy's theme works out for you, that's awesome. So you should definitely do something nice for him. I probably will be. I'll go try it out and see how we are. Okay, and never mind the clickbait Dorcas picture. It's not actually made by this guy, but there's a YouTube video called Free Fab Filter Alternative JS Re-EQ plugin for Reaper. And, we already have Re-EQ, but this is RE-EQ. And this is made in the Jesus Sonic plugin language that you can make Reaper plugins with. And apparently it's been getting some updates. I saw some communication from the developer and back. And it's a nice EQ, man. And, it's still free, it looks like. Were we at AIX DSP a lesser company, this plugin might be scary to talk about because it partially competes with one of our products. But I think we'll be okay. I mean, I have this plugin, and it's cool. So you might want it. Go grab it. Arya Afshar and Leandro Fascinetti, I hope I said that right, made a Reaper script that allows you to search through Kenny Gioia's Reaper tutorials on YouTube. That sounds really handy, especially for our music school down here. Boy, this guy is loved and hated, but I'm going to say it anyway. Scott Grove, Groovy Music Lessons, made an ukulele video, ukulele lesson number 1, and it's pretty good. And, he gets it. I know, this guy usually gets the technical stuff right. I know people ding him for it all the time, but when it comes to luthery and, general guitar maintenance and stuff, he really usually turns out very right. I can't even think of some time when he's been actually wrong about things. I know he's pretty controversial by calling the what do you call it? The truss rod adjustment, the relief adjustment on by tightening or loosening your truss rod. He calls that an action adjustment. And, tomato, it's not supposed to be, but he's got a point. I know he gets nailed for that, but this one, oh man, he calls the uke version of Somewhere Over the Rainbow lame. And I'm sorry, I know as a Hawaiian, I'm a Hawaiian, I know that's supposed to be our national treasure or whatever, but to me, I never liked that thing. I know everybody loves that. It just sounds awful to me. I'm sorry. Hey, I still eat poi, but then again, I don't eat fish. I can barely surf, and I don't drink beer. So, I love Kalua pig. So I'm Hawaiian, but I'm just not your normal Hawaiian, I guess. I can't stand that Rainbow Connection cover or whatever that thing is. What do you call it? Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Yeah, but Scott gives a good lesson here. If you want to play ukulele, I'd recommend you come here to Hawaii and learn it by hanging out on the docks and or over here at our school, or on the beach, or over at the boat ramps. But if not, check out his video. It's pretty awesome. And speaking of Music Tech, I'm not really thrilled about that. I don't really want to give them anything here, but they have a headline: music community responds to provocative plugin. It literally proves female engineers are shown no respect. No, it doesn't, for one thing. That's a lie. Whether somebody is shown respect or not is not up to somebody else. This is a horrifically sexist and dehumanizing article over there. It claims women have no agency and can't think for themselves and are a monolithic block. And it lies about the audio engineering industry. The worst part is, the quotes in this article, the claims are backed by some of the who's who in the YouTube audio engineering community. And it's sad. I mean, used to be a time when music was about freedom. You might not like what somebody has to say, but you really want to back their freedom of expression, because that's how else do you learn? There was a time where people got in trouble for saying that the earth went around the sun, or that the world was round, Do we really want to go back there? This is the kind of religious apologetics I'm talking about, which is why we're actually divorcing this plugin from being so tied to my personal pages. But this was horrible. I can't imagine people defending this stuff, but this is censorship and religious apologetics of the worst kind, and it's crazy. Like, I watched a punk rock a debate in a punk rock community on Facebook of all places, and they were talking about how punk rock used to be about freedom of expression and just pushing all the boundaries and bending all the rules, and now it's about forcing people into a very narrow conformist mindset. And the interesting thing here is not that the side defending Puritanism was denying it. They were actually defending it. So, I mean, this is where we are at this point. But whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, it's really telling to me that those people who claim to see sexism and racism everywhere are usually the ones committing the sexism and the racism. I mean, you want to say it's irony, but no, after watching these exchanges, according to the religious side, that's a feature, not a bug. So, yeah, lame. Now there was there's some Fletcher sightings over at Safe Space. If you guys weren't around for a long time, Fletcher was one of the flame warriors from back in the day in the audio engineering forums. Actually, in the news groups, even before there was really forums. He made a lot of claims. He made a lot of he brought a lot of traffic, and he made a lot of claims. He's famous for the you know what on a stick, where he took a spear and stuck it through a Mackie mixer in an ADAT machine, and forget what it was, AES or NAM or something, and that was his display. That's pretty awesome, actually. But you know, the funny thing is, Greg Mackie said he bought it. He can do what he wants with it, and I bet it still works. And I bet he was right. Now, we had a show about you know, arguments from authority and stuff, and where people got really nailed because they had somebody asked, you know, can you talk about what a huge album that was recorded on Reaper, mixed on Reaper or something, and everybody attacks the guy for asking that. And same thing with guys like Fletcher. When these guys were just pontificating and making all these claims and belittling people for not buying the exact stuff they wanted them to buy, somebody actually had the nerve to ask, hey, Fletcher, can I hear an album that you have done? And it went on for like 10 pages, these guys attacking the questioner for how dare you ask to hear an album that this guy who claims to be an authority has ever done. And then it turned out that there wasn't much of crap out there that he had actually done. And if you click My Recordings Credits on the Safe Space forum, you end up with oh, actually it's going back to Mercenary Audio. Last time I tried this, it went to some bar. But you know, he sells gear, or he did anyway, back when it was Mercenary. But maybe he's got Mercenary back. I don't know. Last I heard, he was working for some other company. But anyway, it's just, you know, the argument from authority. It's not that it's new to YouTube guys with spiky hair and special sideburns and stuff. It's been going on for forever. Yeah, anyway, so now the tube mic, tube versus transistor mic thread we were talking about, it's carrying on. There's some good posts about confirmation bias here, though. This is over at Safe Space. It's called Logic Behind Tube versus Regular Mic Sound Difference. I know that's a handful, but you'll find it. It'll pop up pretty quick. Now, how many times on the show we talk about flavor and color, right? It's just a joke. You know, these guys that claim to hear flavor and color, or character, that's the other one. They can never pick this stuff out in an ABX test. They're usually full of crap. I've done the measurements. You guys know we've said it's like a broken record. And these guys never do show the actual results of these tests. The only time they take these tests are when they're listening tests, and then they fail them. They fail them every single time. So somebody made a claim, everything has its own color flavor, unique. It'd be a pretty boring world any other way. And here's the actual guy who seems to live in the part of the reality-based community. He says, not perceptibly, the world of the studio can be very boring, especially in today's world of very transparent equipment. That's why people's brains try to keep the world interesting by believing in tropes like everything has its own color and flavor. Perhaps it's true, but not at the levels of magnitude relevant to the recording studio. Its truth actually comes more from the imagined color a listener can give a truly transparent piece of gear. The color you imagine is unique to that piece of gear and also unique to you. So you can have both the best of both. So you can have the both of best worlds if you shift one's vantage point to outside of the human as an observer of the human experience. Pretty much, you know, talking about the placebo effect, right? So yeah, hey Simon. Yeah, that's a crazy fact. So Simon's saying, I can't believe this BS still comes up. Everyone says that tubes are warmer, but in actual fact, tubes are brighter than transistors. Now, this is a thing. Back in the day, we wouldn't, you know, people would talk about fattening things up with tubes. What we used tubes for was treble blasting things. Like, you could make stuff super crazy angry by running it through, like, you know, we had LA2As and stuff, and just cranking them through it, and you'd end up with this like brightness that would just boost right through, especially when you're talking about analog tape, right? You wanted to cut through whatever mud got created by some of the drums kind of maybe being too loud. The tube stuff would, and it's, it should be, not that a tube mic's going to do this, but because most of the time when a tube was operated in its linear range, it pretty much sounded like a transistor. It's amazing how transparent tubes can be when you operated them in their linear range, which is where, as far as I know, every mic tube circuit that's ever existed is hanging out. But when you crank them, instead of getting this kind of fuzzy square kind of thing that you get out of transistors, and this is just a huge generalization because I've seen transistor circuits able to do this, but in general, when you crank these tube things too much, you could get this kind of treble blast that would just jump your snare drum out or jump a vocal out if it was getting lost in a dense mix. So this whole thing about fat and warm when it comes to tubes, man, that's not how we used them. But it's a pretty good thread. It's been going for quite a while now. Let me see how many pages this is up to. Looks like 29 pages. It's a good read. I'd go check it out. And finally for this week, let's see. There was a proper use of RTFM. Now, I'm very sensitive. We just talked about that. Let me Google that for you. So when I see somebody pulling RTFM out there, I'm ready to jump down their throat. But I got in here, so this is this thread. Hey everyone, I'm looking for help from current past users of the PreSonus HP60, which is a headphone amp. I think we have something like this out there in the track. I mean, we got a couple actually. Set it up to test all the connections. I found that the volume level of the stereo outs on the back of the unit are quieter than the corresponding outs on the front of the unit. Is this normal? Now, if you really looked at this thing, the front panel is for headphone outs that you plug your headphones into. They got volume knobs and everything for them. The back panel, I don't even know if it's affected by the volume. It shouldn't be. Maybe it is. That would be weird. But it's meant to go out to another headphone amp or something. And so this guy did a... let's see. So he's asking, did I get ripped off? But somebody else just answered, you should RTFM to see what the difference is between front and back outputs is. So I went and took a look. Headphone channels, rear connections, stereo out. The stereo out jack carries a line level copy of the channel's headphone mix and is commonly used for connecting to additional headphone amplification systems, an additional monitor mixer, or even a recording system. The stereo out level is not affected by the channel's level knob. So if I look at the front panel connections, where are we? You actually have a volume for your headphones. And so yeah, in this case, RTFM was actually correct. The front panel outputs are for your headphones, and the back ones are for sending to other places. So yeah. So thank you for actually providing an example of where RTFM went correct. Oh, in my music school, we use a PreSonus 16.4.2, the noisiest preamp I've ever used. We just saw there's a big military auction that has a 32.4.2 for really cheap, but I think they're only FireWire. You can't get in through USB for that, right? Is that true? Because it's going for nothing. But I mean, if it's got to be FireWire, I actually do have a computer that I could put FireWire on. Maybe I could buy a FireWire card, but I'd rather not deal with FireWire if we don't have to. So is that it? Are these all just FireWire now? Or is the USB port allow you to go through USB? Yeah, mine is only FireWire. Yeah, that's what I figured. I'm bummed because it's a really handy looking unit, man, especially for 32 channels. I mean, we can still use it for stuff, but yeah, bummer. We'll see. Anyway, that's it. I'm hopefully gonna go to Waikiki and ride my bike around and burn off some of this flab because, like I say, I may not eat fish, I may not drink beer, but I'm still Hawaiian, so I still eat way the hell too much Kahlua pig. So I gotta go ride my bike and burn the flab. And I'll see you guys next time. I'm gonna be converting this channel, all the names, everything, over to evidence-based audio engineering, and or maybe evidence-based audio engineering and education. And in fact, I'm gonna play you that that graphic again. Hopefully the volume's not stupid loud. So let me know what you guys think of this. So I'll see you next week.